Well, hello, audit and fraud friends and family. Listen, have you ever had someone show up at your door and something just felt a little off? You know what I mean? It wasn't scary at first and it wasn't dramatic. It wasn't the kind of thing where music started playing in the background and then you suddenly realized you were in a true crime documentary. But something just felt a little off. Maybe they said they were from the utility company. Maybe they had a badge and a clipboard because, well, badge and a clipboard can get you almost anywhere. And then for just a second, your brain does something interesting because part of you wants to be polite. Because most of us are trained to be polite, right? And you don't want to be rude. You don't want to overreact. And so we don't want to accuse someone of doing something when they were probably just doing their job. But then another part of your brain says, hold up, wait a minute. Why are they here? And that's a weird little moment because you're standing there, maybe with one hand on your door, trying to figure out whether this is normal or not. You start questioning yourself. Did I schedule this appointment? Did I forget an email or a phone call? Did someone else set this up in the house? Because sometimes it really could be the cable company or a delivery you forgot about, or maybe a contractor with the wrong address. But then something tells you do not follow their instructions, do not rush, do not comply, just pause. Because when we're under pressure, people do things that we shouldn't do. Fear makes people move, urgency makes people move. But that pause, that little slight pause, that gives your brain time to catch up. And every now and then, that pause is important because it can stop something much bigger from happening. So the question I asked in the beginning, have you ever had someone show up at your door and something just felt a little off? Because if you have, you got to stick around for today because, well, like I say every week, this one is just really freaking crazy. Are you ready, guys? Let's go.
Welcome to the Friday Fraudster podcast. Join them as they discuss sad, funny, and sometimes disturbing fraud stories. Be sure to catch past episodes on your favorite podcasting platform or go to www.fridayfraudster.com.
All right. So you guys heard the question that I asked. Have you ever had anybody just kind of show up at your door and it just felt strange? Or maybe you got a letter in the mail and it was like, wait a minute, what in the world is this? So before I go any further, let's just bring her up and we'll ask Christine the same question. What's
Hello.
happening?
In a different environment today.
So you're in a different environment. Well, your house looks the same though.
Yeah, it's nice and clean, always.
So, so okay. So have you ever had someone show up at your door or like a letter come in the mail and it was unexpected, but it seemed official?
Yeah, actually, I had something come through a few weeks ago. It it had to do with like our mortgage or something along those lines. Totally forgetting that we ended up increasing our home equity line of credit because surprise, surprise, we had to get our foundation fixed, and that is not cheap,
Ooh.
right? And so I'm looking at this and I'm like, it had our credit union's name on it, everything else. So I call the number and I realize after calling it, I'm going, this is a solicitation. And their ad didn't say anywhere on there that it was a solicitation. So I just hung up. But
Yep.
like, so other than that stuff where it's just people are being a little sneaky, that's all I've gotten.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Now Stephanie says hello from Idaho.
Oh, hey,
Hey.
hey.
Heather, hello from Jax. Hoping it rains in a few minutes. Well, Heather, come on. You know, in Jacksonville, Florida, every day it rains at like 3:32 p.m. Like on, like on
I'm
the
like, you can have our rain.
Marsha, what's happening? Hadn't seen you in quite some time. Now, Mark says, "Good afternoon, you awesome fraud fighters, and you too, Robert." Uh,
Yeah, it's been a while, Marcia. It's been a while.
here's the thing. They would never be able to trick Heather. Like she
I'd
she
want
would
to be a
ask,
fly on the wall if
oh,
Heather ran into one of those.
she would ask a gazillion questions until she got down to the bottom of it. And then here's the thing. It would be in such a non-offensive way you wouldn't even know she was gathering information from you.
Yeah.
Oh, Stephanie said the people that want to come in and check our smoke detectors. Oh yeah, scouting the place. Nobody comes into my house. Right.
I
Yeah,
had
yeah.
never heard of that.
Yeah, so when you live in apartments,
Mhm.
they'll come in and do inspections from time to time. But sometimes scammers will say, "Hey, we need to come in and do an inspection of your smoke detectors." And what they're doing is trying to scout your place. Yeah.
Do you think that also happens when you have the people that come and try to sell you the carpet cleaning stuff and they want to show you how it works on your carpets?
Oh, sometimes, yeah. Yeah, for sure. I had a friend that did that door-to-door carpet sales stuff way back in the day. Now he was honest, but he did tell me about this little small criminal ring that they caught, and they ended up firing those people, of course. But yeah, they would go in, they would do the demos, and they would scout out the places, and
Oh, that is crazy.
yeah, I'm with Stephanie. You're not coming in. You just not. And yeah, you're not coming in.
Yeah.
Heather says, people love to tell me stuff and I don't want to know. Not great for, right? It's not great for an auditor. Wait, Stephanie said this was a house. Oh, wow. Wait a minute. So you lived in a house and they were trying to come in and check your smoke detector for what? Like who,
Yeah.
how? No, you don't get in at all. You don't, and depending on where you live, some people might just stand their ground, if you know what I mean. Um,
Mhm. Stand my
now,
ground. Oh,
yeah, yeah. Christine, you just got it, huh? What?
yeah, it took me a minute. It's been a long week.
Understandable. So okay, so look, these things work though, because people come to your home looking official, or they send you letters looking official, and now they send you text messages looking official. Let me tell you, I got one the other day. This was strange. I got this text and it said, "Your cell phone bill is overdue. Please click here to pay your bill." And I was like, okay, first of all, I'm not clicking anything. But second of all, it shouldn't be, but let me check and see. And so I go straight to the provider's app, because I noticed it didn't list the name of a company or anything. So anyway, so I go straight to the app and I'm like, my cell phone bill is not overdue. And then I look at the text again, and then I notice all of the indicators that, hey, this is really,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. So if you think about it, this stuff does work pretty well though. And I think the reason why is because they just need you to believe them long enough to act. Long enough to click a button or answer a call or let them in the house. And once you've done that, the damage is done, right? And so they play on your emotion, whether it's fear, embarrassment, confusion, whatever. If they can get you to be fearful, then you can act. So, but it sounds like most of us, if we see stuff like that, we either ignore it, or we call somebody, or we hit Google. But I think that's because of what we do, you know? Yeah.
no, I agree. And if there's a new scam or a fraud, we tend to be the first individuals that like find out about it or get educated on it, and we know what signs to look for. And
Yeah. I used to think that most people exhibited that kind of due diligence, but now some elders in my family, they'll call me, I just got this letter in the mail. And I just throw it away. Are you sure? Just throw it away. And then
mhm.
I said, okay, let's be a little bit more patient and start talking to them about some of the indicators, and and when you start talking to them, once you get them out of that urgency, they really start thinking about it and they get it. But it's that
Mhm.
initial sense of urgency that really gets them. So today's story does start with a pause, not a huge one, not a dramatic one, not some sort of law enforcement sting, just one person in Manatee County, Florida, who was contacted by someone claiming to be with the Federal Trade Commission. And then after that person contacted them, they actually came to their home to collect some money from them. And so while at their home, that person paused because he was like, this doesn't seem right. So there was someone at the door, and he could have panicked. He could have handed over the money. He didn't. Here's what he did, though. He took a picture. He took a picture of the woman and her vehicle. And that one decision actually helped detectives identify a suspect in something that was a whole lot bigger. It ended up being a fraud targeting elderly residents, more than 40 victims across Florida, more than $3.5 million in reported losses. And so there were multiple arrests, federal prison sentences, and stuff like that. Isn't it crazy how one small act could just.
Well, yeah, I mean, and who really sits here and thinks about, oh, this one picture I take and I hand over to authorities, like how big of an issue this actually was.
Yeah, yeah. How big of an issue was that actually, right? So, so it all started with one defendant, Jilu. Ah, that one, she's already been sentenced federally, and there are other cases pending. But let's walk through what happened. Let's walk through what happened. So the main person is a name I can't pronounce, but she was 40 years old and she lived in Apopka, Florida. And according to the federal prosecutors, she participated in an elder fraud scam. And see, her role was very interesting. Her role wasn't necessarily to make the original scam call. Other people made the original scam call and arranged for um, packages, usually cash, to be provided. And so her role was to pick up packages of cash and to deliver them to other people involved. And so that's important because this fraud had a bunch of layers like an onion, right? So there were people who were contacting the victims and then creating a bunch of fear. You need to pay this bill, you need to do this, you need to do that. And so they were giving the people instructions to give money to the couriers. And so she was one of the couriers. So these people physically went and picked up the money. So between July 22nd and July 30th of 2025, prosecutors say that Lou drove at least six locations across Florida to pick up or attempt to pick up money from elderly victims. Now, one of them, check this one out. One of them lived in an assisted living community for seniors in Gainesville. And in total, prosecutors say that she attempted to pick up more than $95,000 from this one individual. What do you
That
think?
is just, I think the part that I'm just like, what in the heck is like you're picking up these packages of cash. These packages of cash. Um, I mean, it doesn't surprise me, but this is, what I work in every day. We see people getting scammed, whether it's people pretending to be government agencies or somebody who is wanting to have a romantic relationship with you or trying to pretend to be somebody's fraud department. It doesn't surprise me. It disheartens me.
Yeah. So, there are a couple things about this one that struck me because we're not even done yet, you guys. So, one, the scheme was different. It wasn't always the same thing. So they
Mm.
they switched it up. So that was the first thing. But the second thing is you are in an assisted living facility and you've got $95,000. Stephanie just hit on it. This is where I was going with it. She kept it
No,
under her mattress. Like, how did she get that much money? You know, that's
I
where I was going
mean,
with it.
yeah.
Okay, because think
I
about
don't
this.
know.
Assisted living facilities cost a whole lot.
Hmm. Maybe she was rich.
Maybe. So that brings me to another one because I couldn't find this in any of the stories that I read. If they were able to extract this much money from people, because she's not the smallest dollar amount, right? How did they know who had a lot of money? Because we've seen schemes before where they just randomly kind of got people. How did they know who had this amount of money? And Heather says, I'm not physically giving money to no one. If it's not one of my known websites, not
Mhm.
paying nothing.
So there's a part of me, I think there's a lot more personal information out there than we actually realize. Think about it this way: you sell a house, that's public. People can pull that publicly. Um, or let's say somebody buys a house and has a new deed put on it. That's public information. All they have to do is search tax records to find out who previously owned it. And if they're an older individual, they might sit there and go, oh, perfect target. Um, I just think there is so much data out there that they can extrapolate. And then they have the use of AI now that makes their target window probably shrink a lot more than what they've had to deal with before. So that's what I'm assuming. I don't know, but data
Yeah,
mining.
yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too. Because so now this first individual, she was sentenced to 27 months in federal prison, right? But
Hmm.
but let's just break down how it kind of happened because I gave some clues, right? But step one, they would contact the victim. So the victim received either a phone call, an email, or some kind of communication, and it involved a fake government official, law enforcement, etc. Then step two, they would isolate the victim. So the scammer didn't want the family to know. So they said, you know, don't tell anyone. And then that's when they, converted the fear into money. But instead of asking for a wire transfer, they would ask for cash. Then they would send the courier, and then the courier would send the money to someone else. But the first big break came in a very interesting way. So the next target, reported being targeted by someone posing as a no, that might be the first one. Hold on. Let me get to the second one. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Sorry. The second one now. The second one, they were investigating, and then that's when they learned that a 79-year-old Manatee County woman had already lost $200,000 in a crypto scam. And as they were interviewing her, the crooks retargeted her again, this time asking for $30,000. Isn't that crazy?
Just wasn't enough, apparently.
you know? And so they set up a sting. And as the courier arrived to collect the money, detectives arrested another suspect. And this one was a 52-year-old Chinese national. And they said that this one was acting as a courier. So they were charged with scheme to defraud and conspiracy to commit first degree felony. And so then the detectives, they, well, they expanded the investigation
Hmm.
and they found another 56-year-old Chinese national and arrested them on a similar charge. So, yeah.
Well, and here's the thing, like there's a part of me going, so you know who's ever coming and picking up the money, like you said, because you said in the first story it was like that person gets a cut, right?
Right.
It's like, why don't they just hire like a company like DHS to actually do the pickups?
Right.
Like they do pickup services, do they not?
I think so. I mean, as far as I know, they do.
And then just have it shipped to a different PO box.
Well, and the thing about it, to your point, if they had gotten DHL, it would have looked even more official, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that probably would have gone. Oh, wait, I should have not said that out loud. I don't need giving people ideas.
Now, Heather says, I think it will happen less as older generations change. The scams will have to be much more complicated to work. Definitely agree with that. Stephanie said not in Idaho because it's a non-disclosure state when it comes to like selling of homes and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's like I want that, Stephanie, but I also don't because like we use it for research. So it helps us in a lot of cases. It's oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
sharing lists. Yeah.
Yep. Now that's a really good point. They all share their list of suckers. Yeah, that's true. Very true.
Oh yeah, because I mean, Stephanie knows how many times have you had one person fall for it? And I've always wondered that. So I'm like, okay, this person's on their second or third time being scammed. And no matter how many times you talk through with them and try to educate and everything else, like it still happens. And then I'm sitting here going, nobody's called me yet. Why?
Uh,
Do you know what I'm saying? Like we do have like there's some people that just it's all the time. And then there's others that never had a call.
yeah,
So they
that
have
makes
to.
sense. Yeah, yeah, because we just said that they caught one person because they retargeted a person, and then they set up a sting. And when they
Mm.
set up a sting, they got a warrant to search a home. And as they were searching one of the homes connected to the investigation, detectives found thousands of suspected counterfeit items. And so that then led to a separate Homeland Security investigation.
I have a feeling this is going to be a long investigation because how many different agencies are involved?
Right.
County Sheriff, FBI, Homeland Security, is U.S. Customs.
Probably
Guessing because
so
we're
if there's
dealing with the
counterfeit stuff,
national.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. And then probably additional, maybe local law enforcement agencies. Um, yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So you guys, Christina's got to go in a few minutes, and so we're actually almost kind of done with this one because, you know, it was a tangle web that they wove. But so think about this: one man who got suspicious took a picture of a woman in her car. That eventually led to them doing another, expanding the investigation. And while they were interviewing one victim, they retargeted that same victim. And so they were able to catch another person because they were able to set the person up to get caught. Then they got a search warrant for a home because they had another lead. And as they were doing a search warrant on that home, they found counterfeit items, which led to a whole nother investigation. Now I gotta say, the looks like almost all of these people that they actually caught in this part of the sting were Chinese nationals.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty interesting, right?
Yeah. Did you mention the total amount?
Yeah, it was three. What was it? 3.5 million.
But that's just a lot. And that was over 40 different people in Florida.
Yeah. Well, and it looks like it wasn't that long of a period of time either.
Mm.
And so check this out. Let's talk about. Oh, I think I lost my place. Oh, here we go. Let's talk about what's happened so far. So one person, 40 years old, I can't pronounce the name right. They have been charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud. They pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 27 months in prison. That's the first person I talked about. There was another
Mhm.
one that has a state case. Uh, Previously pleaded no contest to reduced attempted scheme to defraud charge. Sentence was time served per the Bradenton Herald. Now, so that person is out then. Since that was a state case, they got time served. Another person, unnamed suspect, 52 years old. State case is currently pending. The charge is scheme to defraud and conspiracy to commit first degree felony. Arrested after an undercover $30,000 pickup operation. That's the one I told you where they were trying to
Mhm.
retarget the lady. Another unnamed suspect, 56 years old. State case pending. Similar charges to the first person arrested, and the related case is pending. And they're saying that there are additional related cases.
Wonder if anybody's going to flip.
I think they already have. I
Is
think
that
that's
why
how
it's
they're
still actively ongoing?
right. Yep. I think they already have.
Mm.
So let's bring this one back to where we kind of started. Um, and I usually when we have the elder fraud, I always say this, and so I'm going to say it again. I want you
Mhm.
to think about someone in your life who might be vulnerable to this, and get it. They're vulnerable not because they're unintelligent and not because
Right.
they're careless. It's just because they're human, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
And it's just different. Technology's different now. I mean, I feel like even despite with us talking with strangers, like we just have this human instinct to probably trust right off the bat. Like we tend to wait to have that distrust until, or we trust until somebody proves us otherwise. Um, so I think that is there. And then, like you said, it's that pressure. If a sheriff's office is calling you, you're gonna listen. It's not all the time that we're sitting here and thinking to ourselves, is the person on the other line truly who they say they are?
yeah. That's what I was about to say. You hit it when you said trust. This wasn't just any level of trust. This was trust in law enforcement, trust in
Mhm.
authority, and you tend to hold that to a higher level. Now, Stephanie is saying probably the one that got time served, and I think that's in relation to who flipped, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was
Oh
like, I'm thinking that, or that other person only got 2 years. Somebody maybe.
yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So here's the thing. We got to talk to our elderly friends and family members and tell them when something feels off that it's okay to pause, because pausing lets you verify, lets you call somebody, lets you do like the gentleman did previously and take a picture. Because in this case, according to the authorities, a victim became suspicious and then took photos. And those
Mhm.
photos were instrumental in breaking the doggone case. So it is okay to pause. And then two, Froster's like secrecy. So if anybody tells you not to tell a family member something, that's the first thing you should do.
Yes. Yes.
You know?
Yep.
So, all right. Did we miss anything? I don't think we missed anything.
Oh, just support. Don't be afraid to talk, like you said, to individuals. I mean, sharing that information is only going to help. And you never know. Something you might tell one person, they tell another who tells another, and it could save that person a significant amount of heartbreak and hurt in loss in financial or monetary, security that they might have. Like the individual giving away the 30,000. I mean, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. All right. So if this story made you think of someone, send it to them. Not to scare them, but to prepare them. So
Oh, Mark.
Mark says, "Yeah, Robert, why haven't you given me a call? Don't you care about me?" Wait a minute.
Don't worry, Mark. He doesn't
Mark,
call me either.
your phone is ringing right now. It's the FTC. Well, but see,
Oh, that's
Christine, I think
hilarious.
Mark was saying because he's saying that he identifies as old, and we know you can't identify as old yet. You got many years to go.
What's old?
Mark and I.
But then you're telling me my husband is old because you guys are about the same age.
Okay. Yeah, but your husband looks good though. He has a baby face. Heck.
Yeah, I think I look older than he does.
Stephanie is right. Could save a life.
Could save a life. You could.
Could
You
save a
really
life.
could.
Well, all right, guys. Thank you for joining us this week, and we will see you next week.
Bye.